Hey, hey, hey. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is Pink Life Live. It is February 24th, and we have a very special guest speaker. Aimee Nelson is going to be joining us tonight. So you guys are going to get the privilege of hearing from her firsthand. But first, I want to do some housekeeping, a little bit of things just to kind of keep you guys in the loop. We are coming down to the end of the month. Just your reminders, you guys, a couple of things. That $2.22 sign up is still good. The welcome packs are still 10% off on top of your coupon code still being valid. That SAM 2020 code is still good. It's still knocking people's savings off. They're able to save that. And I don't want to forget either that the Bless 2 extra $50 incentive is on the table. I was reading the fine print. It always behooves you to read this fine print. Up to $500. You guys, that's $500 that is additional on top of your building bonuses, on top of your pay points, on top of your rank advancements, on top of your consistency bonuses. That's exciting stuff. And so I want to make sure that we're all on the same page about that. And you guys are doing an awesome job. You're more than halfway through your success sprints for the quarter already. If you get in your back office and things look a little less than normal, you want to make sure that you go back and you read the rules and regulations for this quarter. They are a little bit different than they were the last quarter. So the points are a little bit different. The levels are a little bit different. So if you are expecting to have more points, or maybe you're looking and you're like, I should have more points than that, it doesn't make sense. I bet it's because of the way the new structure is. It's level 1s and level 2s, and then level 3s and level 4s fall into a different bracket. So we are going back, and it always behooves you to read up on this stuff as soon as it hits, not wait to like halfway through the quarter to figure out how to play the game, right? So anyway, last night, I think it was Kimberly might have dropped the convention registration. So I want to make sure that everybody's getting registered for that. Leaders Retreat is coming up. And last but not least, if you are local, our Pink Life Live is going to be live and in person the second Tuesday of March. You guys, we are feeling lucky. So every participant, every guest that comes in is going to get a lottery ticket for fun. But it'll be a great incentive for you guys to have your guests and your friends come out and join us. We are going to have family testimonies. So if you have a family member or you have small children who have had incredible results, we want to hear from them. So hit me up and let me know if they'd be up for sharing a testimony. I know that it sounds kind of funny, but sometimes people look at Plexus only as a weight loss issue, or it's only a weight loss product. They don't realize that it can actually benefit the entire family. So we really wanted to highlight that it does, in fact, bless children as well. I know personally, our kids have had incredible results on these products. So we kind of want to give them the floor a little bit, and it'll be fun to have the kids be involved in that as well. So you guys, that's it for our announcements. I want to jump right into, I'm going to read her notes because I said, send me what you want me to say about you, girl. She sent me 3 paragraphs because she's like that awesome. She's going to kill me. She's like, I did not send you 3 paragraphs. I can see her face now. She's like, no, I didn't. Yes, she did. So Aimee is the beloved wife to Daryl. You guys, Daryl Nelson, he's a senior pastor at Calvary Chapel in Palm Beach Gardens here on the Treasure Coast. She is the director of She Connects. It's the women's ministry of the Calvary Chapel in the Palm Beaches as well. She also serves as the founder and executive director, you guys, of You Mom. And I'm like, I want her to share a little bit more about You Mom tonight, so you guys can understand like what our community is a part of or getting ready to be involved in, which is so exciting because our Plexus community is just exponentially growing. And there's so many incredible men and women that are within our own team that are doing amazing things. And we genuinely and truly want to partner with them. So Aimee is that director, and it's a nonprofit. I want to read this so I don't mess it up. Mentoring program, which creates safe spaces for the young and courageous moms and their families. Aimee is celebrating each day married to her Mr. Incredible. Now I got to see pictures because I'm wondering if they have the outfits and all. Daryl's gonna need to take photos, Aimee. We're gonna have to see this. And then you post it on social media, make a reel with the kids. That would be fantastic. So the backstory is Aimee and I actually met through women's ministry here on the Treasure Coast. We have a mutual friend. Our friend Gina is fantastic. And so Gina and Aimee are my mentors. They are my people. So when you guys, there's a lot of times where we go back and forth, and there's times where you might wonder, well, where does she go? Or who does she go to? Well, Aimee is my go-to. Aimee is that one that I messaged and I said, girl, is it me? Do I need an attitude adjustment? Do I need to look inside? Is there, stop talking. Is it like, shh, he's now giggling. But is it like, what is it? But it's been like that for years. And one of my favorite things is that when Aimee and I can talk and we get time, it doesn't matter if days or weeks or sometimes months have gone by, we're able to have that friendship where we just pick right up where we left off, right? And I'm excited because you guys, God is doing stuff that's really big in her life and in her ministry. She is a product lover. She loves herself some pink drink and Metaburn. She was like, oh, that's her jam. She loves it. But when we were talking about this series, Empowered Women, Empower Women, Aimee was one of those ones that I was like, oh my gosh, can you take a second and just like jump in? And she's like, girl, I'm like not in the business side of stuff. That's like your thing. I'm like, I know, but you have so much that I know our team could benefit from, and the value that she's going to bring tonight, you guys. You obviously, you know the rules. You got to have your pen and paper ready because I have no doubt that she's going to bring it for you tonight. So Aimee, I love you, girl. And I am so thankful that God intertwined our paths to be able to do life together. So it's all you, mama.
Oh, you know what? If we were in person, I would literally turn around and look and see like, dang, well, who's she talking about? Shoot, I'm trying to make sure you sure that's me. Oh, Jenna, first I want to say thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you, Kenny, for inviting me and letting me be in your space tonight. Kathy Mason, love you to life, my friend. Yes, girl. And just for creating a space that you do so well, Jenna, for allowing people to grow and to become all that God's called them to be. So thank you for that. Saw you step into this journey a few years back. You said God was calling you to it and you were going to see what it was about, and you stepped in full-fledged. Thank you for being an example to all of us as to what it looks like when you say yes to God. So that's an encouragement to me. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're on the line, thank you for letting me just share a little bit about, I guess, what it's like to empower. And yes, I have been married to Mr. Incredible for 32 years, the mother of 4, and I've got 4 grandbabies. And I tell you, I think we should have had them first. Them grandbabies are the best. I'm enjoying every minute of that. And they know Mimi has to have her pink pouch for the pink drink. They talk about it, but they know it works. So thank you, Jenna, for doing that. But before I step into anything, just to take a little minute, let me bless our time and we'll jump in if that's okay. Let me do that. Father, thank you for tonight. Thank you for this space. Thank you for everyone that's on this call. Lord, they don't need to hear from me. You take full control over all that we say and we do here tonight, God. We love you. And thank you for loving us. In Jesus' name, amen. As Jenna said, I have the opportunity to serve with my husband. He's been pastoring, I would say, for, let's see, my oldest is 31. So we've been probably doing this about 25, 26 years. So I've had the opportunity to lead and serve and be involved with leading people and encourage them for over 25 years. And I will tell you, one of the greatest things that I've learned, and I want you to catch this, what I've learned out of everything that I've done is, if I don't lead me well, I'll lead other people wrong. So let that be the first thing you say, that you understand. If you don't lead you well, you will lead other people wrong. You know, we're going to talk about empowering women. The first thing you're going to need to do is to learn how to empower yourself. I've seen plenty of women step up to the forefront, and one of the most destructive things you can have is someone that is not self-aware. You must become a self-aware leader, and you must understand that The space that you are in, you're there because God's placed you there. And he's got something important for you to do. Nobody else can do it. It's for you to do. You are in the ministry that you're in the business that you're in the marriage that you're in the friendships that you're in, because he has placed you there. You, even the children that you have. I know every now and then you probably look at them like you ain't sure, but trust me, even your kids, because I swear when my oldest kids turned 13, I knew why animals ate their young. I'm just saying, I got it clearly, right? And the mothers of teenagers are going, yes. So that's the first thing you need to understand, that God has you where you are for such a time as this. He's placed you there. And while you're there and you're empowering someone, let it be you first. Okay. And understand that the space that you are in, the purpose that you are in, everything you need, he's already given it to you. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that God gives us everything we need for life and godliness. And if you believe that, then you know that you have it. Sometimes we just need other people to pull it out of us. And that's where we get our Jennas from. That's where we get our mentors from. I am pretty sure I'm older than most of y'all on this call, trust me. And I still have mentors in my life that I meet with once a month that have a right to speak into my life and encourage me and pull my coattail. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to tell you that's gotten me over into being able to serve and lead effectively is you must have disciplines in your life. You need to have disciplines. Be a woman or a man that is disciplined about your time. Be disciplined about your time. Be disciplined about it. The first minute when you get up in the morning, I'm telling you this, I've been living long time, over 50 years. We're going to say it like that, and some change. Okay. When I get up, and I still have younger kids at home and my grandchildren, sometimes my coffee isn't looking at me before I'm spending time in the word. Why? And I'm going to tell you why this is so important. Be disciplined about your time with God. You know why? If you believe that he knows everything, then he's going to know everything about the day you're getting ready to face. He's going to know about that phone call that's going to come your way that you're going to need extra wisdom to know how to take. He's going to know about that business plan that's coming up that you're going to know how to help that team member process through that. Spend some time meditating, spend some time in the word, and don't compromise on that. Why? Because even when you read your word and you get into it, it's not just about you. Whether it be for your team member, whether it be for your child, someone's going to call and they're going to need your viewpoint. And it's not enough just to give people you. Okay? So be disciplined about your time. Spend time in the word, spend time praying. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do while you're leading you well and you're getting your disciplines down, be willing to journal. Spend some time journaling. It's so important that you're writing down your thoughts, processing what you're reading. These are the self-disciplines. Remember, I said, if you don't lead you well, you'll lead you wrong. You can't ask a team member to be engaged in these things if you're not. We want to be leading authentically. We want to be asking our team to do things that we ourselves are doing. Another thing I want to put out there to you, have the gift of fellowship. Everybody wants the gift of leadership, but do you have the gift of fellowship? Meaning, can you follow well? Where I look at people, men or women that have a hard time following, if you don't have the gift of following, you definitely don't have the gift of leading. You may have the gift of commanding. That's different. Fellowship allows you to take a step back and say, wow, okay, what are you doing? What fellowship does, it allows you to ask questions. Why? Because we don't know everything. Don't be afraid to ask your team members questions, because you know what that says? That adds value to their life. That makes them go, wow, you're going to ask me that? Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say about that. What's your thought about that? That adds value to other people's lives. Be willing to have the gift of fellowship. Have good self-disciplines, guys. Be disciplined with your time, disciplined with your money. It's very important. And I'm going to say this to you, please. This is so important. It's so much more important that you are bigger on the inside than you are on the outside. And what that means is that you have character. Your character is who are you when nobody else is looking? Not about fudging the numbers, not about, sugarcoating here, sugarcoating there. Be a woman or a man of integrity. Be a person of your word. If you say you're going to call somebody back at 5, call them back at 5. If your time is running short and you can't, pop them a text and apologize and let them know, you know what, I'm running a little late here. All of those things matter. Okay, that's important. Practice patience. Practice patience. Look, I tell people, wait, listen. That's an incredible non-listed cuss word to a lot of folk when you talk about waiting. But I tell people the only thing worse than not waiting on God is wishing that you had. You want to wait. You want to be patient because you don't want to go around circumventing processes. Okay? The path that you need to take to get you to where you need to go, don't try to circumvent that process, because those steps that you need to take, it's going to be developing you as you get there. It's going to be strengthening your muscles. You're going to need to learn proper tools and steps to get you where you're going. I know the process is hard, but have the patience and be willing to learn the things you need to take going along the way. Something else, girls, seek accountability. Get a great accountability partner. I tell people, I don't want people in my life going to tell me what I want to hear. If that's what you're looking to do, you can't even rock with me, because telling people what they want to hear has led a lot of people off the beaten path and destroyed a lot of things. Speak the truth in love to me. Be willing to have the hard conversations. And if you're leading people, be willing to go every now and then, tell people, well, right now I have on my friendship hat. But what I'm getting ready to do right now as you and I talk, I'm going to take off the friendship hat. I'm going to put on the leader hat, or I'm going to put on the supervisor hat, because now we need to have a different conversation. Get accountability in your life. Who are your go-to people that you can be your authentic self about, where you can be real and go, listen, I'm struggling. That's one thing I will say I love about Jenna. She will pop off a text and go, look, y'all, I need some prayer because whatever. And we've learned to do that with one another, because you're only as good as your accountability circle. And I know you've probably heard this before. You were not created to do life alone. You cannot do this by yourself. You need community. Okay. When I find people that don't want advice, can't take advice, those are leaders that are really stunting their growth. Some questions you want to be willing to ask yourself. How am I being honest with me today? Ask yourself, where are the areas I need to grow? Where am I struggling at? Be willing to ask yourself that. And then the next thing I want you to do is know your strengths. Know what you're good at. Listen, I know my wheelhouse. I'm sure I have some adult form of ADD, ADHD. I'm just calling it like it is. I am that leader that's going down the world and all of a sudden squirrel. So I need those people in my life that are not like that. I need the focused people at my table that are going to be, wait a minute, Miss Aimee. Yeah, you're over here to point C. We didn't take care of the details with A and B. But you can only have those strong team members around you when you're willing to be honest about who you are. And girls, I want to suggest something to you. If you have never taken the Strength Finders test, please take it. Please take Strength Finders. It is incredible. It's for you to know you. because it's going to tell you how you function as a leader and what you need around you. It really is a great tool. And as a matter of fact, if you purchase the book, Strength Finders, it will give you a coupon in there, Jenna. It comes with a coupon inside of the book where you can get a little discount on the test. But it's so worth it. Be willing to do that. Be willing to ask your team, and this is going to take a lot now. Be willing to ask the teams that you're leading, how am I doing as a leader? That's vulnerable and that's tough. Be willing to ask people that you know, how is it sitting on the other side of me? How is it sitting on the other side of me? Get you somebody that you can trust to ask that question to and to have them speak authentically in your life. Listen, I know I tell my husband sometimes, I was like, look, I tried to leave me yesterday. We aren't always the easiest people to get along with, but be willing enough to say that. I'm a mess. I have organized messes, and my husband, bless his heart, he is the detailed. And days I look at him and I'm like, babe, listen, I'm just trying. Listen, bro. But you got to be honest enough to know that about yourself. And get specific about your details. Narrow them down. Okay? About your strengths. Know them and know them well. It's so important to become a to just have great self-awareness. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a while, girls. And when I run into people that don't know themselves well and they aren't aware of their blind spots, it can really hinder and destroy a team. Know your blind spots. If you know you have a tendency, I'll give an example that I served with a lady that knew she had a hard time keeping people's confidence. So she would say to us sometimes, if I'm going off or I'm sharing what I shouldn't about somebody else's business, stop me. You know, be disciplined about our conversation. Are you speaking well about your teammate, your team members? Are you covering them? Are we covering our team well? And are we believing the best about our teammates? That's a biggie. It's not always easy to do that, to believe the best about people. Scripture says that love hopes all things. Even when you see it going off wrong, you want to pray that, you know what, but I pray and I'm going to believe the best until I hear something different. This is my teammate. Am I going to believe the best about them? And be willing to do more listening. Be willing to do more listening. Take a season of listening. One of the greatest gifts you can give someone is your attention. Not your attention and your phone, but the gift of you being fully present. Whether it's with your team, your children, your husband, people in your life, even if you have to put the phone on do not disturb, give people the gift of your full attention. Now, this is a big one. I'm just going to ask you to write this down about yourself. How do you handle criticism? How do you handle it? There's a scripture in the Bible that says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. And always know if that criticism is coming from somebody that's got your best at heart, that's what you always want to fall back on. You want to fall, when my husband and I have to have difficult conversations and there's something he needs to say to me, even though I might not like it, I can take it better because I know his heart towards me, that he means me well. How am I handling the criticism? Try to handle it with grace. It's not always easy, but consider the person that's bringing it to you. Be willing to admit your mistakes and to apologize when you're wrong. You know what, guys? I was wrong about that. I was wrong. When's the last time someone heard you say that? That was my mistake, my bad, I was wrong. Those are signs of of leaders that are learning and leading well. Because a lot of these things you have to develop on the inside of you. See, so many people think leadership is about, leading and directing people. But that's why I started off with, you have to learn to lead you well. Be willing to want to lead you well. And be willing to want to see yourself grow. Are you growing? Are you growing as a leader? Can you look back and say, I'm different today than I was 6 months ago? Next thing I want you to do, are you a grace-giving leader? Do you give grace? See, a lot of times we want it, but we don't always extend it well. I'm not sure if you do or not, but these are just questions that you can begin to ask yourself. Am I a grace-giving leader? And are you honoring your team? And I kind of want to hang out on this for a minute. We live in such a culture where there is so much dishonor in this culture. Are we honoring the people that we are serving with? Are we adding value to their lives? Be willing to honor people, know things about them, know about their family. When you get on the call, let it not be the first thing you want to jump into is what you want. But even check in and go, how are you doing first? First of all, tell me how you doing. How you doing? How's that situation going on with your family or with your kids? You know why? Because nobody will care what you know until they know if you care. You will always get more from people when they know that you care about them, not what you're doing for them, but genuinely care about people. That goes so far. And I know one that I have to often remind people is, a lot of people think that when they get up to a certain echelon of leadership, that they no longer really have to serve people. And I say this, that if serving is beneath you, then leadership is really beyond you. Be willing to serve your team well. And be willing and to honor others, put them above ourselves. We can be good leaders. We can have boundaries and still let people know that we care about them. How am I speaking well of my sister when other people aren't around? Am I just going, oh, I don't think they're doing their part. They're not doing this. If I haven't had that conversation in front of them, I shouldn't be having that conversation behind them. That I'm covering my teammates. I'm covering other people well. I'm speaking well of them. That I'm keeping my judgmental and my critical spirit to myself. That I'm not so critical. There's nothing worse than a critical spirit. It can tank a team. If I know a team member is struggling, am I going to pop out a call and go, hey, here's a couple things that work for me. You want to try this? You want to talk about it? How can I help you? I think Chick-fil-A has got it down, man. How may I serve you? That's why they're God's chickens, girl. It's God's chicken. That we're honoring, we're serving, and that you want to lead with intentionality. Be intentional in your leadership. Be intentional in your leadership. All the time. And one of the last ones I kind of want to camp out on a little bit is How are you handling pride? And the reason why I say that, pride shipwrecks a lot, girls. Pride shipwrecks a lot of things. Marriages, friendships, organizations. When you've got people running in and it's about me, my numbers, my quota, my hoorah, and it's when it's about me and not about we, that's a problem. And I can tell when I'm starting to function in pride because I'm doing stuff and all I hear is a whole lot of I. I'll be like, oh, girl, please. Pride takes down a lot of relationships. How am I handling my pride? And we all get tempted with those things, you know, we all do. You know, I want to make sure I'm doing my best, that I'm out front, that I'm this. Well, you did good, but we didn't get to where we got to because of just us. Whether it's your Christian faith, whether it's your team, no matter what it is, it took more than just you to get you there. And I'm one of the things, lastly, I kind of want to camp out is be who you wished you would have had. Be who you wished you would have had in your life. If you're bringing people on, and when you first started where you are, what are some things you wished you would have had during that time? Oh my gosh, I wished I would have had this. I wished I would have had somebody calling more and checking in on me or sending me a quote or sending me. What is it that you wished you would have had? Go be that for somebody else. Whether it's in this organization, whether it's in life, in and of itself. Be who you wished you would have had. And I know we talk about teams a lot. And remember, I mentioned this, girls. I don't want everybody on a team that's just like me. I refuse to have that. I will not be a part where everybody looks or thinks just like me. Why? That's boring. I'm crazy. I don't need to be out a whole bunch of people just like me. I don't need that. But I love it that there is such diversity in my friendships, in the people that I spend time with. That should be something that you want. Don't want to be around everyone that looks like you, that even thinks like you. Welcome diversity. But if you want it, you got to create space for it. You got to make room for it. And what that looks like, you're going to need to know that. And that's why I said it's about intentional leadership also. You want to be intentional about that. Creating spaces for people to sit with you that may not look like you, think like you. Create the space for it. And be willing to say, you can sit with me. I'm going to give you just one or two questions. I just want you to take a few minutes to answer them. Right now, I want you to just take a minute, look over some of the things I gave you, and then I'm going to give you some questions, and you don't have to answer them now. Take a minute and say, what are some things that I could do to make my team better? That's just a question for you. What are some things that you could begin to do now that could make your team better? And the next question is, are you developing other people around you? Are you developing other people around you? And if not, what can you do different to change it? Okay. So, Jen, I don't know if you open up the time for questions or.
Can I just say like, amen. I'm over here and I'm like, I don't know about you guys. I'm looking around. I'm like, I've got notes. This is when Aimee speaks. I'm like, and I'm so glad this is recorded because absolutely, my phone's already blowing up with text messages from people who are not paying attention, by the way. Focus. Okay. Listen, focus. You can text me later and tell me how awesome Aimee is. I know she's my friend. All right. Oh my gosh. Like everything you hit on, you would have no clue are things that we've been tackling, things that we've been talking about, like total confirmation. Can I get some head nods? Like everything. Kenny's over here making notes on his phone. He's like already like all the things. But normally we don't have enough time to do questions and answers, but you opened the door. So we're going to walk through it. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I would love, I'm not going to call on people. I'm going to usually that make them do stuff out of their comfort zones. But I'm going to let you guys, if you feel led to like, just speak up, just raise your hand and unmute. And then like, don't all bombard me at the same time. Okay. But I would love to hear like, what is something that you can do right now to make your teams better? I love that. I think that's a really good self-reflection kind of thing. Because I think sometimes we can get so focused on what we think other people are not doing. Well, if they just did this, if they just did that, if they just did what I told them to do, if whatever. But I share a lot that if we want builders, if we want entrepreneurs, if we want people joining us, then we ourselves need to be that person. Like we really can't expect other people to do what we're not willing to do ourselves. So I love that self-reflection, that what is one thing, we'll just keep it to one thing that you can do right now to make your team better. Does anybody have like, did they write down something that kind of like spoke to them that you want to share with Aimee or ask her a question about that? Everybody's reflecting. I can see their heads going. And listen, if y'all don't pop on, I'm going to start calling people out.
I got a question.
Oh, he just saved somebody. Josie's texting from the baseball game.
Okay. Aimee, what is one of the questions you had was being bigger on the inside than the outside? Other than the Bible, what are other like books or anything that help you in that situation? Like helping you grow, be better on the inside than the out?
Mentorship, getting people that are ahead of me in my Christian walk, that are ahead of me in my business, that are ahead of me in the nonprofit world. I don't spend time with people long-term time that are exactly where I am. I'm looking for the person that's above so I can sit with a pen and a piece of paper and I want to know how they're doing it. Now, one of the things I do when I choose those people, I check their life. Their life has to line up with my values and my principles, but that is one thing I do. And I listen to podcasts, Kenny, I really do. I listen to podcasts. I spend more time. I do very little watching of TV. I mean, okay, my sleep patterns, don't judge me. I probably go to bed about 11. I wake up at 2 and I work from about 2 to 5. And then I go lay back down and I wake up again at 7. I just don't require much sleep. I just don't. Yeah, I know. And but my time during that time, I'm learning, I'm reading, I'm listening. If I've got time to be sucking up the boob tube, I've got time to be reading and developing and honing in on my skills. I really do, Kenny, and asking myself important questions, trying to be honest with me. You know, everybody's on this kick now, Kenny, about, well, I'm just being authentically me. Don't let that be an excuse to be mean. You know, people want to say, well, I'm just being authentically me. No, you was being salty right there. You were being salty. You know, you can be authentic and get people around you that can point that out, that can help you grow. So I hope that answered it, Kenny. I hope it did.
Yes, thank you.
Good stuff. Well, and you know, he's like, John is his friend, like John Maxwell. And one of the things that you were talking about over and over, that self-aware, and he has a leadership book called The Self-Aware Leader.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he does. I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, oh, Aimee must have read that. How cool is that? See, he has a book called The Self-Aware Leader. It is on Audible as well. I know that sometimes is your jam. And so it's been a really good book because it really does cause you to reflect on the way that you, like Aimee said, are leading yourself. You know, we talk about being a product of the product. That's you being confident and being bold and being brave and being courageous because you yourself are experiencing it. So because you're experiencing that, that confidence in yourself turns into competence, right? And then that competence can start to turn into confidence. And then that beautiful cycle starts to unfold where you're just confidently, consistently growing more competent. And not that you have to be an expert, not that you have to know all the things or have it all figured out. You guys know, if you spend any amount of time with me personally, you know, I don't got it all figured out, but I do know where to go to find the information.
Yes.
Right. And I think that that's key, that we're always in a season of growing, being open to learn new things. So does anybody else have a question specifically on that topic, about the one thing that they were like, would love to hear about? What's one thing that you really could be doing now to help your teams? And by teams, you guys, I'm not just talking about the business. Let me clarify. Your team is your household. That's your number one team.
Yep. Your family.
Is your family. And there might be some little things that tweaking that need to happen within your own four walls of your own home.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, and one of the reasons why I talk more about being big on the inside, Kenny, is especially in the early years, I was a young leader and I just don't think I did things well. And I had to go and learn and find the answers and find what my strengths were and learn to be introspective so that I could learn me well, to know the type of leader that I was, to know the type of people I needed around me to help the team be better. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. We got texts coming in. I'm like, open your mouth.
Do you have any questions?
Like, well, I just think it's like, it's all good. And my head is swimming with so many good nuggets. And I love my lesson, huge one, learn to listen. Listen more, ask more questions. I love what you said, be that person that you wish you had had. Right? I know I saw Lindsay. She was like, when you were like, well, if you had had somebody calling, checking in on you. And then I'm like, I know Lindsay's upline. She is fantastic. But at the same time, there's points where you're like, it's not just about the business. It's about life. It's about be that friend that you wish you had had. Not all of us can say we've had the best friendships ever. We probably, if we're being honest, haven't. And only now, as we're really merging into adulthood and we're being intentional about building our community, about who you let in, about having those healthy boundaries, about not having to say yes to every single thing that comes your way.
That's right.
That's being a respecter of your own time and valuing your time. That's something you're never going to get back.
That's right.
And who are you giving it away to? So I'm like, those are things like, I'm just kind of right. And I love the pride. I mean, I wrote down pride takes people down.
It does.
Because it does. And you guys, I get to be a part of like really big groups with really well-known people and their names are like plexus celebrities. And then sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes they open your mouth and you're like, what happened? Oh, like, oh man. And then sometimes they open their mouth and you're like, they are the best people ever. Like I love, like Krista Deary. I'm going to share one of her videos from this morning with you guys, probably tomorrow. I'm in her team page and she just brought it this morning and it was fantastic. And like we've had her on our call, Aimee, and she's so humble. She's a pastor's wife as well, has an incredible testimony, built an amazing business on serving others and all the things. And she will be talking and she chases that rabbit and she's like, what was I saying? What was I talking about? It's not perfect. It's not scripted. It's just, but it's her. But then it's like, then it's just like whatever it was that God wanted to lay on her heart at that point in time. So Kimberly's got a question. I love it.
Hi, Aimee. Thank you for being on tonight. You are fantastic. I loved, Jenna, what Aimee said about, are you different today as a leader than you were 6 months ago? And for me personally, I was, reflecting, and I was doing the same as Kenny. I actually was doing all my notes in my phone tonight. But, I think about my leadership and all the things that I'm trying to do to better myself, to lead myself, because it really is the most important thing. So I think about the book club and the podcast and the things that we really do share and pour out to our teams every day. So I'm going to really enjoy over the next couple of days, really reflecting over the last 6 months and, how have I grown as a leader? So thank you, Aimee.
Thank you. That's an encouragement. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you. That's an encouragement.
Man. All right, Yolanda, you have your hand raised. Was that on purpose?
Yeah. Hi.
Amen.
This is Yolanda and Troy. I'm new to the group and I've been listening. And I know for me as a leader, I had to work on the stuff that I wasn't strong on. I had to work on stuff that I was weak on, stuff that I needed, far as me being patient and really building my team around me, was building it through relationships, not just, product, but really understanding people and understanding that my strengths were I knew what my strengths were, but I had to keep reminding myself of my weaknesses because those are the things that I needed to work on. But I just wanted to share that. And I think, that's a part of being a leader, is working, where you're good at. Everybody knows where we're good at. I think that's just something that, it's innate. That's why we're all on this call. But I think we need to work on the stuff that we're not good at. And I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
It's a great point. Thank you. So true.
I love that. And Yolanda is, like she said, she is like brand spanking new. And I love that you said, Yolanda, that you're finding that the root of your business is about building relationships. That's the secret to the sauce.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. Clients, customers will come and go. Friends and relationships stay.
That's right.
So when people know, like Aimee said, when people know how much you care, they actually will come to know how much you actually, what did you say, Aimee? I'm messing
Nobody
that up.
cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
There you go. Amen. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
it's so true, because I think if we can understand that knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. Knowledge makes your head big, but love builds up other people. That's why I said we want to add value and let people know that we care about them.
Absolutely. I love it. Daphne, she raised her hand.
Okay, so in the same spirit of what you just said, like when you see potential in the people on your team, how do you relay that potential to them in a way that it's received as coming off as genuine versus, well, I'm just trying to get you to do something good so it helps me?
Is that for me or Jenna? I'm sorry.
I want to hear your answer.
That's for you, Aimee.
Well, I think it all goes back to the heart. If your team know that the heart you have for them and you genuinely love them, then you calling out that potential in my life, I'm going to believe that, because I believe that you've got my best in heart. You've got my best at heart. And if you cared about me before I got on the team and you genuinely loved me, then I'm going to know that you know what? She's not just saying that because she's trying to push my numbers. She really does love me. Why? She knows the names of my kids. She knows I was struggling 2 weeks ago, and she texted me to tell me she was caring about me, that she was praying for me. You see, it starts before, all along, while we're building those relationships, like the other lady said before. I hope that it touches it a little bit.
That's good stuff. I love it. All right, Kathy, I'm gonna call you out. See, I know that you love Miss Aimee too, so we've been able to work together. You have to unmute.
You have to unmute.
She's like,
Just like I'm trying.
There we go.
there
Whoops.
we go. I see a beautiful face though.
There we go. I think I did it.
Lay it down. What'd you think? You got questions for Aimee?
The thing that challenged me was the journaling, because it's something that I don't do. So I wrote that down. I circled it big. I'm like, I have to think about that, because, and then I went back through my notes. I was trying to find it because I just knew you were going to call on me, but, and I think with the journaling, the reason why I don't journal is it's a value issue. Like, I don't value the time to put into it for myself, the space that the book is going to take, the clutter that it's going to bring, you know, all of that. I have to, there's something else there that I have to, you know, look at and consider, because if it's good for me, then those things shouldn't be the thing, you know, clutter. It's not going to be clutter. It's going to be something that's good for me. Or anyway, I'm not expressing myself well, because yeah, I have to deal with it, because I can feel that there's something there about that, but I don't know what exactly that is yet. But I can see the value that it will bring to me, but I can also see that, oh man, now I have to look at those things and make those changes, because there's something there, something that, you know, something. So, and I wish I could put my hand on it right away, so I wouldn't have to go through the pain of learning what it is. Just saying.
It's that process.
It is the process. So, yeah. So thank you.
I love it. What I hear you saying is I can bring you a journal to coffee tomorrow.
I have a shelf full of blank ones, which is
I got a pretty new one.
and they're pretty and they're pristine, and the pages are all not wrote in, because, and I look at them and I go, isn't that nice? And it bothers me that they're on the shelf, because they just sit there, you know. But I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess, and I'm a lot older than you, Miss Aimee. So I don't think you're the oldest.
We'll work on that. I love it.
Because you know what, Kathy, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do after whatever situation you're going through. And I
Right.
believe what the journaling could help, because you're writing down whatever situation it is, and then you're allowing God to speak to you. And you would get a better correction when he speaks to you versus your husband speaking to you.
Oh,
'Cause
boy.
he knows how to speak to you where your heart understands it.
That's true.
Yeah, Gary would fare with that.
That's good.
Good stuff. Thank you, Miss Kathy, for sharing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love you. All right, you guys, we have just a couple more minutes, but I just want to just kind of reiterate, Aimee, what is like, when you're talking to leaders, because I love how you really like tackled that specifically tonight. And I think all too often people don't realize that they're leaders. They discount it until they get a title. But what I like to talk about is that you talked about leading yourself first and adding value, and then leading others well, right? And then all I could think of, I don't know about you guys, was like chopping the tree. So our friend John wrote another book called The Power of Five. And it is about doing 5 things every single day, consistently over time. And it's about chopping the tree. You want to tell Aimee about that?
You're
No,
good.
you have 5 minutes.
Well, the chopping of the tree is, let's just say in our case, in our business, we have goals. So the tree in your front yard, let's say it's a decent sized tree, and you took an axe to that tree and you hit that tree with that axe 5 times a day, not 6, not 1, just 5, put the axe down, next day, do the same thing, just repeat 365 days a year. What is eventually going to happen to that tree? It's going to fall.
Sure
And
is.
that is the consistency of it. And believe it or not, when you said you woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning and 5, that is actually chopping the tree, because you're consistently, that you can't get no more quieter in the house than that time frame. So I can see why you do it. That's the most intimate time you can have actually with the Lord right there.
That's right.
And that is a consistent chopping of the tree, because there are mornings where I don't feel like getting up,
That's right.
but you do it anyway. And then throughout a period of time, let's just say a full year, you are a better person because of it, because of that reflecting, because of that time, because of journaling, because of reading more, or just getting positive affirmation through the word.
Mhm.
I believe in 1 year span, you would be completely different, almost a 180 turn from the person you were year to year. So
That's right.
that's the chopping of the tree.
Absolutely.
I love that concept, because that's totally, totally true. And what a lot of people do, they want to spend time over here, but by the time you pick it up and put it over here, it never gets root. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
People want to go and do something here for 2 weeks, but pick it up and then do something there 3 weeks, something there 3 weeks, but the roots never grow deep. So yes, I totally can see that concept. And Jenna, just to your point where you were saying we are all leaders, we are all influencers. We're influencing the people in our lives one way or the other.
Mhm.
Especially women. We have the power of influence, whether we want to admit it or not. We're influencing somebody for something, whether good or bad. We have that power.
100%. And it
Yes, ma'am.
starts again in your own home.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. 100%.
Starts in your own home. And then I do believe too, Amy, I think that's kind of interesting, because we have that power of influence over others, but also over our own thoughts.
Yes.
Like we did a
Yeah.
study recently, and it was called the high 5. And part of it, she broke down some science with your brain, and it was really interesting. And I don't remember, Kimberly might have to remind me, was it 90% of our thoughts
Yes.
are repetitive? 90% of our thoughts are repetitive. And out of that percentage, something like 75% of them are negative.
Wow. Wow.
So then that negative mindset is just on repeat. So that whole, what we tell ourselves, take your
Yeah.
thoughts captive,
on.
matters, and it's real. It's
Yes.
real, because once you start thinking you can't, you won't. You actually, your brain, the science behind the way God's made it is that your brain will just inhibit you from being able to step into, because already you're just thinking you can't.
That's
But then
right.
you start telling yourself, no, I can.
That's
I'm worth
good.
it. One of the things that we started telling our kids, anybody that has kids, you'll get this. I used to say, oh, that's why we can't have nice things. Anybody else said that? Like, spilled milk on the couch, dog pooped in the middle of the rug, was only 2 weeks old, threw up on the bed, whatever it was. Oh, that's why we can't have nice things. But then you know what happened? We're having nice things.
Yeah. That's right.
You reap what you sow.
So then
right.
we got couches. Kenny came home, I think last year around my birthday, and had new couches. I was like, oh my gosh, look, we have new couches. We can have nice things. So you know what I just started telling my kids? You guys take such good care of these couches. We can have really nice things.
Come on.
You know what? Now we have nice things.
Yeah.
And it's not about the things, but it is about what we tell ourselves
Yeah.
that
that's
truly
good.
matters. And so it's just those little things. It's sometimes changing the verbiage from, oh, I have to. Girl,
Yeah.
we don't got to do nothing.
That's
We
right.
get to.
We get to. That's right, Jenna. That's good.
So you
That's
don't have to lead others. By no means do you have to do anything. You get to.
Yeah. That's right.
You
That's
get
right.
to. Is it going to be easy? No. It's not going to be easy. If it's easy, everybody be doing it.
And there's a cost. There's a cost.
Go there. Because I remember when I was going diamond, let me clarify.
I believe there's a scripture about
When
that.
we were going diamond, And I was going to Aimee and I was like, okay, this is what's happening. This is where we're at. This is what's going on with the, like, and she's like, okay, are you willing to pay the cost?
Right.
So will you touch on that real quick? Because it's so good. And then I'll let you go.
Well, no, I think so many people look and they see that they want their glory, but they don't know that person's story. You know, so many people want that platform, but they don't know the cost. It's not like you just wake up and go, okay, yeah, I'm there. There's a cost there. What did you have to sacrifice getting up, Jenna? You know, learning different things, posting, connecting with people, stepping outside of yourself, you know, taking the risk to say, you know what? Bump what the doctor said. I'm going to do what God said. I'm going to honor and be obedient. There's a cost to that. And everybody's not willing to pay that. You know, we will look and go, wow, I sure would like to be where that person is. Look where whoever, you know, a great speaker is. Wow. Look what Christine Kane is doing. Are you willing to pay that price? You know, there is a cost. There is a dying to ourselves to get where we're going to go. And I think people get the misconception that I just want to get there. But like I said earlier, you cannot circumvent the process to get there, because the journey to get there is what makes you who you are when you get there. Because if you get there without that process, then the fame and the limelight that it takes to stay there will literally destroy you, because your character won't be able to hold it. That's the problem. The man or woman of God is made in the valley, not on the mountain. Joseph was who he was because of everything he went to before he got to the palace. His character was developed through all the pit, through the prison, all of those things. Then he was able to handle what he could when he got there. Who you are becoming right now is going to help you for when you get to Diamond or Ruby or wherever it is you're going. You're learning how to do all the things you need to do to maintain that position when you get there. Don't circumvent the process.
Amen. Amen. We're going to finish on that. Aimee, thank you so much.
No,
so
thank you.
much for taking
Girls,
time.
thank you. Thank you for having me, Jenna. Thank you for your time.
Oh, girl, I love you. And thank you for being you and for continuing to be one of my people. Like, I just cherish you and I love you. And I'm so incredibly thankful for you.
Ditto, my friend. Ditto. That goes both ways. Thank you for praying and keeping me sane on most days and reminding me that I'm still here. Thank you, girl. Love you to life.
And we're still here. Love you.
Thank
And
you.
we will see you guys all soon. Have a great night. Thank you for
Have a
joining
good
us.
night. Bye-bye.
Bye.